Hi, I'm Ed from Gunmark TV, and today we're looking at the Tippmann Arms M4 Elite-L Fluted. Hi guys, so as you've probably gathered, we're talking about 2.2 semi-auto rifles, and this Tippmann model is brought into the UK by Shooting Supplies Limited. They also stock the Grand Power Strybog rifles as well, and offer a pretty comprehensive selection of these tactical style rifles, plenty to choose from. When it comes to the Tippmann rifles, your main sort of choice, because there's a few price points, is whether you want a polymer forend or an aluminium one like on this rifle. Then depending on which model you choose as well, you'll have a choice of a 12.5-inch solid steel barrel, a 16-inch barrel, or like on this model, the fluted 16-inch tube. So it all depends on what sort of handling characteristics you want and how much money you want to part with. So, straight out of the box, first impressions are very good. The rifle has a real air of quality about it, a proper sort of mil-spec, solid construction, with a nice balance and weight to it, which is helped by the solid barrel and the aluminium upper and lower receiver, which has no flex in it whatsoever, and yeah, just a real air of confidence about it. So let's take a look at the features of the rifle. Up front we have a metal thread protector covering a 1/2-inch thread. Moving slightly back, we see some pretty significant and deep fluting that goes from this point all the way back here. And that really sort of shaves some of the weight off the front end of the rifle. This barrel is then fully free floated for its entire length within this aluminium forend, which measures 12 inches in length. As you can see, plenty of M-lock accessory points underneath as well, so you can attach lengths of Picatinny rail and then lights, lasers, etc. to it as required. On top is obviously a Picatinny rail which merges into the Picatinny rail on the top of the receiver. You will of course have noticed the iron sights, or polymer sights even. These are Tippmann's own brand and they're flip-up sights, so it can be stowed away as and when required. Very good units, similar to the Magpul ones. The front sight is adjustable for elevation using a small wheel at the rear, and the rear sight you can adjust for windage. You do only get one aperture size, but I wasn't left wanting for anything else. When folded down, like so, you also get what I call battle sights. So you've still got a U-notch in the rear on the top here, and a very small blade up front. But you really have to squish your head down to use those because obviously they're very low profile. Moving to the heart of the rifle, like I said, you've got a aluminium lower and an aluminium upper. The upper shows a sprung dust cover, which is very useful. and that helps keep dirt from getting into the action or very handily with a 2.2 semi-auto, it stops it all falling out in your gun bag as well on the way home, which is nice to see. You've got a case deflector obviously, and also a forward assist button, which is fully functional, and this basically pushes the bolt forward if the return spring hasn't quite done its job, but I never had to use it and I'd be very surprised if I did. You'll also see here the status indicator for the rifle, so safe and semi. You've got the standard AR-15 mag release catch there, and a polymer A2 style pistol grip, which is Tippmann's own brand. Standard mag well as well. Moving to the rear, you'll see a sling attachment point which has been sandwiched between the castle nut and the rear receiver, a standard AR-15 buffer tube, and a collapsible stock which has 6 positions. Simply, as you can see, depress the lever and you can adjust accordingly. You've then got 2 sling attachment points here. If we flip over to the other side of the rifle, you can see your selector switch, which operates in 90 degrees, and your bolt hold open catch as well. It's important to note at this point that this rifle does do last round hold open, so when you've depleted the magazine it locks open, indicating that you need to get a new one in there pretty sharpish. The T-handle is completely polymer and operates nice and easily like so. So all in all, a decent setup. Now crucially, this rifle is actually built from the ground up as a 2.2 semi-auto. So it isn't a centerfire version that's been converted to fire 2.2. The dedicated design means that, which is crucial with these rifles, is that it's reliable with the 2.2 cartridge, and that means that there are some. So the bolt itself is obviously dedicated to 2.2. The return spring is a certain weight as well, but you can swap out the pistol grip, the stock, and then you can even swap out the trigger unit if you want something different as well. As with any 2.2 semi-auto, they get pretty grotty inside when you've put through quite a few rounds, and that means it's really important to be able to clean them easily. And a lot of models out there, they make it really quite hard to get in there and clean out all that mess. Luckily for us, the Tippmann Arms, based on the AR-15 platform, it makes it so easy. All you do is push you've got a front pin here and a rear pin here, and you just push the rear on through with a soft implement. You can then just pull that pin out like so, and the rifle just breaks open. This gives you access to the fire control group here. Just brush it out or blast some air through there to get out the mess. And then all you do, pull on the T-handle, out pops the bolt. We look at the bolt, it's got a nickel coating on it to help reduce fouling on there. This has actually had hundreds of rounds to it and is remarkably clean, so that's quite impressive. You also then have easy access to the chamber area and to the barrel. And if you want to separate the upper from the lower, you can just push this pin out. You can then rest the upper on a bag or something for rodding through the barrel, or for bore sighting as well. That makes that job really easy. And then reassembly is pretty simple. Just mount the T-handle on top of the bolt again, slide that into place. It'll be a bit fiddly, but there's a knack to it. Close it up like that, and then just push the pin back in. And then just function test it and you're good to go. So when you get the rifle, it actually comes in its own hard case. And inside you'll find the rifle itself, some instructions, a padlock, and 2 of these polymer magazines, which are Tippmann's own brand. Now, the magazine looks like a standard AR mag exterior. You still load the rounds through the top. Interestingly, you'll see 2 metal tabs at the top here, and they're actually serviceable items by the looks of things, because they're secured in place by 2 screws, and those metal ears will hopefully add durability to the magazine for long-term use. What Tippmann have done is you can actually press a button and slide down this outer sleeve, giving you access to the sprung follower. There's 2 tabs, so you can just pull them down as you load in the rounds, and it makes loading really easy. 25 round capacity, absolutely flawless reliability in use. Tippmann have done a great job here. So, what do I think? Well, in use, it passed the main test for me, and that is reliability, which is so hard to come by sometimes with these sort of 2-star rifles, but the Tippmann passed with flying colours. Just ran like a sewing machine with standard velocity ammunition, hundreds of rounds, not a single hitch. Brilliant. I did try some subsonic just to see, some Winchester, and it just didn't quite have enough oomph to, you know, cycle the action. Which is a shame, but not really what the rifle's for. Accuracy wise, off a bench, just resting on a front bag, I was achieving inch groups at 50 metres, which is not bad. I did find sort of the main thing preventing me from shooting tight groups was the trigger, which actually, when I measured with the Lyman pull gauge, that came in at 6 pounds. And you're never going to print tidy, you know, really clustered groups with a 6 pound trigger. That's going to be tricky. But the beauty of it is, if that's the kind of thing you want to do with this rifle, you can just swap the trigger unit out for something else on the market and go from there. Fit and finish of the rifle, really good. The build quality, I've got no complaints whatsoever. I think it will last for years. The magazines are very good. And they fit into the mag well tightly with no wobbling, so that's good as well. I think the only thing I would change if this was my rifle would be the buttstock, this particular one. I'd swap that out for something else. There's a little bit of play in it, but that's common on these types. And also I found when shooting from the bench, and you're using your non-shooting hand to support the rear of the rifle under here, it's so easy just to press this lever, and this can slide as you're trying to shoot. Some models of this you can actually get ones that allow you to lock out this lever to prevent that from happening. So other than that though, no complaints. And if you're looking for a 2.2 semi-auto tactical style rifle, I highly recommend you go and look at one of these. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe.